everyone hear me okay? Hello, hello, hello. Hi, so I am just gonna get straight into it. I'm gonna get started. So today I am going to be doing a kind of different technique using Crazy Colours UV range, which I'm going to show you in a second because I've got my handy, yay, hi, thank you. I've got my handy cameraman here, so I'm just going to be doing a kind of modern take on one of Crazy Colours', I would probably say, more famous kind of marketing images. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. And I'm just going to be doing a kind of modern take on a mullet I have already cut. I've already started here. It's nothing precise. You can do it without foil. Obviously, you know, take care with your clients if you're going to be doing it on a normal human head. But yeah, it's just super messy, super fun and super creative. So I am going to get started. I'm going to show you the colours, which look kind of messy just now because I've already been using them. I'm going to turn this around and get, okay, right. Okay, this is my lovely cameraman Jack, and he is going to be reading out any questions that you guys have and just anything else. So this is the side that I've done here. If you want to see how I cut this mullet, I have a video over on my page that you can go watch after this live. There'll be pictures going up and stuff as well. But this is the side I've already done. I'd call it maybe like patchwork. I don't know. It was all very random, just because, you know, like the shape is very kind of shuttered, very textured, and I want the colours to be like that as well. So that's what I've done here. Here are the colours. This here is the UV range. This is Rebel, Anarchy, Caution and Toxic. And then I've thrown in Blue Jade, which is like a really stunning, like turquoisey kind of colour. And then I've mixed up some lilac with some Pinkissimo and hot purple as well. And that's what we've got. And just for clarity as well, these are the colours here. I have added some cyclamen into the Rebel UV just to make it a little bit brighter. But I am just going to go and I'm going to get started. So she's looking lovely and messy already. So yeah, you don't really need to worry too much about this kind of technique. It's just super relaxed, super fun, super messy. Nobody's going to be dissecting it and looking super deep into it. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to throw them along. Jack is going to read them out for you. Anything about this, anything about Crazy Colour. And I'm not really going to be mirroring anything on this side either. It's going to be completely random on this side as well. But I am just going to start with kind of like a little triangle here. And I'll probably go in with my purple mix. I have sprayed this down a little bit as well, but you can go in wet or dry. And this is the mix of lilac and hot purple and cyclamen. Just making sure that you're getting right into the root here and blending it in. If you have any questions, feel free to chuck them in the comments. I'm going to be here for around kind of like 45 minutes-ish. Just depends how long it takes me to do this, but I'll be answering any questions. I've also used some film to cover this lovely little dolly's face, so she doesn't get super stained, although she looks pretty crazy here already. But she is covered. So when I was thinking about this, I was just thinking about kind of like different shapes on the head. Just big and small, nothing super precise. So when you're doing this, don't worry if like little pieces here and there get on the root, because it's all going to be blended in and stuff anyways. And I'm going to go in here with another triangle. Turn it around so you can see.
Sophie said that the pink washes out of her hair really quickly, so I don't know if you've got any advice as towards that.
If that is the Rebel UV, the pink is a little bit lighter than the rest of the range, but you can add some pink in with your shampoo or, you know, your conditioner, whatever you fancy, just to keep it nice and topped up. Make sure you're using sulfate-free shampoo, silicone-free conditioner, things like that. So obviously, you know, the crazy coloured shampoo and conditioner will really, really help for your hair to keep the colours in, as it's far less aggressive on the hair and the colour. And this is Blue Jade. This is Blue Jade just straight out of the bottle. And with some of these, I'm just doing kind of like block colours, and then other ones, I'm kind of like melting colours in. So with this, I think I'm probably going to do a melt, so I'll probably go Blue Jade into Toxic and melt those together. And I'm just going to do that straight on film because Dolly's head is super jaggy and pokey everywhere, so it'll just be easier for me.
Sophie came back and said, that's great, thank you. She's tried putting conditioner into the mix with the pink, and that's maybe why it washes out too quickly as well.
That'll definitely be why it's washing out a little bit as well. If you're putting conditioner in, that's just going to soften off and pastelise the colour, which there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, but it just means that, you know, when you're thinking about your colour, you're thinking about, say if you're using Cyclamen, which is obviously a very intense version of, you know, the pink range, in comparison to, say, one of the pastel tones, you're kind of like making it more pastel, and kind of it's already in its journey to being faded out if you're adding in conditioner. So if you don't add in conditioner, that's fine. It just means your colour will be brighter. I usually just say to my clients, it just means your colour is going to last for a little bit longer if you do it brighter or darker to begin with. It's not really a huge deal in my eyes.
Nicole's asked, what's the best way to melt and blend colours together?
So it depends on the length of hair that you're working on. I'm just going to go in with a kind of jagged triangle here. Yeah, it depends on the length of hair you're working on, the technique that you're doing. I tend to find that obviously because I'm working on kind of shorter hair just now, it's better if I just kind of blend it in with my fingers. It's going to be easier as I get longer because, you know, traditionally mullets get longer at the back. So it means that I can kind of like blend it in with my fingers a little bit more, but obviously in the shorter hairs I'm just going to be kind of like blending it in a little bit with the brush and with the tips of my fingers. So I am going to go in with Caution. This is our UV yellow. And I'm just going to outline the shape and then cut it in half to get into the roots.
AJ's asked, how would you rinse this without it all bleeding?
So I would leave it a little bit longer, but to be honest with you, these colours, because they're quite bright, obviously you've got your pastel colours here, as long as you're using cold water with a high pressure, you're not really going to run into any issues with bleeding, even when your clients are kind of rinsing and stuff at home. It would maybe be a bit of an issue if you were working with kind of like darker tones, say, you know, like sapphire, or even kind of like a darker kind of like custom mix, but you're not really going to run into any issues with these brighter colours. But if you're worried, you can leave it on for like a little bit longer, especially without kind of like any incubation, to let the tones kind of dry out a little bit, and it stops them from bleeding as much. You can also use our anti-bleed spray, and that'll kind of soften everything off. Even just putting your conditioner in straight away after you've done your cold high pressure rinse is going to make a big difference. So I've done that section there, and I've mixed in Anarchy with our Caution, and then I'm going to bring my head up. I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to do another kind of random, do a little bit bigger, little triangle, and I'm just combing this all back to get out of the way. It's usually easier with human heads because their scalp isn't as crazy. And then I think we will do our rebel. And remember, our rebel has a little bit of cyclamen mixed in as well. But like I said, don't worry too much about it getting on other parts of your sections. It's all going to kind of melt together. And mullets are traditionally pretty crazy and out there anyways. Just making sure that you're getting all of the roots. And then I think we'll do some of our lilac mixture. With your pastel tones, make sure that you're properly working those into the hair, because those can be a little bit trickier to drive into the hair. So make sure that you're, I like to kind of like jab the brush in and kind of, sound super professional, but smoosh it all together to ensure that it's properly saturated. And I'm just kind of bringing that all forward. I'm not being too precise about kind of like how it's sitting or what sections that it's sitting on or anything like that. We'll turn around, and I'm going to kind of come around the side here a little bit, and we'll work on a kind of big shape here. So this is going to incorporate a little bit of length as well into it. And I'm just going to clip this out of the way a little bit. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to shoot them in the comments box, the chat box, I don't know. Feel free to post them. Anything about crazy colour, anything about this technique, completely go for it. And I think we will go in with our Toxic. This is the UV lime colour. And I'm just doing this at the roots. And I think I'll do a little melt on this one. I think as it gets a little bit longer, I'll maybe kind of do 2 or 3 colours. If you caught the colour to begin with, when I was showing it, you can kind of see that on the length I did 2 or 3 colours using the UVs. These look amazing under the UV light as well. If anyone has ever used them under the UV light, you know what it looks like. It looks so cool. I'm just kind of blending it in here with my brush. And get this little hair here. And then I'm going to go in with caution and just blend this down and blend this into our Toxic. And I'm just kind of using my brush, my hands. This is like a super, super messy technique. And just super random as well. There's no specific way to do it. Just blending a little bit more Toxic there. Just making sure it's all blended in underneath. If you're worried about saturation, don't be afraid to go back into your sections. Right, and then I think we will go in with our Anarchy. And this is our UV orange tone. Blending this up into our caution.
Weather's asked, where are you located?
I am in Dunfermline, Scotland. It's about 35 minutes away from Edinburgh. I usually like to put that as a pinpoint because nobody knows where Dunfermline is. And my salon is called the Vivid Circle.
And what's your Instagram if people want to see?
My Instagram handle is Amber Does Mermaid Hair, excessively long with lots of, what are those, underscores? With lots of underscores. Yeah, so my Instagram handle is Amber Does Mermaid Hair. I made it a while ago and now I feel like I've committed to it so I can't change it, so very fun. Okay, and then I think I'm going to go back in here and we'll go in with another triangle. It's so warm today. Okay. And then I think we will go in with our Anarchy, and this again is the UV orange shade. Just outlining my root area. And then cutting the section in half. I'm just blending it in with my fingers. Again, this is Anarchy, that's the UV orange shade. Go. And then I'm going to blend in some caution to this. I'm going to go back in with Anarchy and blend it up. And then I think we'll take a kind of random section here. And I'm going to go in with lilac. And again, this is our lilac mixture with hot purple and cyclamen. And any kind of like little random hairs that are poking out, I'm just kind of bringing it into that section. And then I think I'm gonna blend some blue jade into this. If anyone's used the UV range before, let me know what you thought of it. If you have any issues with it, if you liked it, let me know. And again with the pastel shades, because this is still more pastel shades, I'm just really driving my brush into there to get that saturation, because especially these are bigger sections. Typically, if I was colouring, I would use smaller sections because it's going to be a lot easier to saturate, but just the effects I'm going for, I'm not really able to do that. So just making sure that you're fully saturating with your brush, with your fingers, whatever.
So someone said, did you say the violet is a hot purple and cyclamen for the lilac shade?
Yes, yes. So it's lilac with hot purple. I've just kind of eyeballed it. Hot purple and a few dots of cyclamen. Lilac is a pretty cool toned purple. Lilac. So I just used the cyclamen to warm it up a little bit. Just more my liking.
Well, someone added on to that has said, when you're mixing colours, do you just free pour?
Yes, very much so. You can, if you wanted, you know, make measurements and you go back and look at it after, but I am not that kind of person. I'm an excessively messy person, so like I wouldn't ever remember to do that anyways. But yeah, I just, like I always kind of visually remember what my mixtures roughly kind of look like. So I do just go a bit crazy and chuck it all in the bowl.
We've said amazing, thank you so much. Lilac's always a bit of a tricky one to get. When they use it straight, it kind of has more of a bluey hint to it. So
yeah, especially if you're working on very yellow toned hair. If you think about, you know, what purple tones, you think about your colour wheel, you think about what that's going to do to the hair, then it's just going to more tone it than anything else. So doing that and kind of adding a little bit more to it, especially if you've got more of a kind of yellow base to the hair, is you're going to get more of the shade that you want, I would say. And I'm just going in with the Toxic. And blending this in. And then we'll go in with Caution. Just blend it in. I'm just picking up the section and just checking underneath it to make sure that it's all properly saturated underneath. And then I think what I'm going to do as well is just kind of tip it out with Anarchy. Just a little bit. Once I get to a certain point of the head as well, I'm going to start working it from the back upwards, just because it'll be a little bit easier. I'm just blending this up. And then I am going to go in and turn our minutes. We'll go in through this crown area with some of the blue jade. You can see that, okay? Yeah, so we'll go in with some of the blue jade here, and I'm just going to outline the section, and then I'm going to probably go in with maybe Rebel, and remember the Rebel is mixed with Cyclamen just to make it a little bit brighter.
someone's asked for advice on changing, let's have a look, from changing the hair colour from red to purple.
That is a pretty hard one to answer without seeing your hair. It really depends. If you're bleached all the way underneath, I usually, if I'm trying to transition my clients and they're not bothered about the time frame, I like to kind of gradually take them around the colour wheel as opposed to totally blasting through their hair. I just find it's a bit more gentle on the hair, so if you can kind of gradually go from orange to, you know, maybe like a pink colour and then gradually to purple, you're going to find that you'll probably have an easier time with that, and you'll definitely have hair left afterwards, which we all love. Like, I love that for you. So yeah, if you can do that instead of completely blasting through your hair with lightener, obviously this is under the assumption that your hair is blonde underneath and you're not like box dye. I'm just blending up with blue jades. And this is going to make a really nice kind of purple shade in between as well, as the colour kind of mixes together, which is lovely.
If anyone does have any more questions, just put them into chat and we can get them answered for you.
And then just going back through it with our Rebel and blending that up. And then I'm probably start from the bottom here, so then we're going to start melting our colour upwards. So I'm going to turn our lovely darling around, and I think we'll start with Rebel underneath here, and I'm just kind of taking a triangle.
So someone's asked, do you charge per colour or is it a set amount?
No, I personally usually charge like a set amount. It just depends on how long I am going to take on the head as opposed to kind of like per colour, just because I find it's a lot easier than kind of like doing it like X, Y and Z colours. I used to do per colour, and it kind of made it a bit more complicated than it needed to be, I found. Okay.
Someone said they're new to crazy colour, how long will the pigment last?
It very much depends on how you care for the hair. Obviously, for your clients, or if you're, you know, doing it on your own head, it very much depends on how you treat the hair and what you're doing with it. If you're washing your hair with Pantene and boiling hot water, you're doing 15 shampoos in the shower, then you're probably not going to have a good time. But I mean, that's like that with any colour, to be honest with you. But if you care for it well, if you're using sulfate-free shampoo, you're using a nice kind of like hydrating conditioner that's not going to kind of mess up your hair or anything, you're using nice products in your hair, and you're just generally not washing your hair overly frequently, you're going to find that the colour is going to stay a heck of a lot longer. So just make sure you're taking care of your hair and the colour. Obviously, it also depends on, you know, what shade you're using as well. So if you're using a pastel shade, then it's going to last a lot longer, a lot less longer, sorry, than if you used cyclamen, which is a lot brighter of a shade. I can't talk today, but yeah. So it just depends on how you're caring for your hair and what you're using on your head as well. More pigment means that it's going to last longer, generally. And this is Rebel into Anarchy. And I'm just blending this down, lifting the section up and just pulling the colour through. Make sure you're wiping your hands between colours as well. And then I'm going to go in with caution. I'm going to blend that up. And then I think I will finish this with Toxic and just use the whole UV range here. Yellows tend to saturate very, very well in the hair. Yellow is my favourite. I love yellow. It's very sunny and bright, makes me happy. But they saturate very, very well, and they're very bright and beautiful. And then obviously this one is UV as well, which makes it even better. And this is Toxic, and I'm just blending that up into Caution. And then I think my next section will be the lilac, maybe across here. Not decided yet. I'm just kind of deciding section by section. Actually, I think we'll do blue jeans. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to like shoot them. If you're having any trouble figuring out the crazy colour line, send me questions across and I will try and answer them as best as I can. And another question, has anyone seen the image? I mean, I know obviously no one can raise my mind, but has anyone seen the image that I'm talking about? It's in one of the older crazy colour images. It's one that was very famously used for like a lot of their marketing and advertising and stuff like that back in the day. Blue jade. Just melt this in. Again, I know I've said it a few times now, but don't worry too much about little dots of colour. Here and there, especially if you're working on something like a mullet or something. This is supposed to be kind of super messy and creative and fun, even if my voice doesn't sound like it. So blue jade, and then I think we will do, shall we do lilac?
Someone's asked what's your favourite colours to blend?
I'm not sure, I've never been asked that question before. I would probably say the warmer tones, just because they're a bit easier to blend. Although I don't really have like a preference, to be honest with you. I would say like unless you're working with dramatically different colours, like the whole crazy colour line is pretty easy to blend together as long as you think about like what you're doing. So for example, if you're trying to mix, you know, red and green into a section, you're probably going to have a heck of a harder time blending that together than you would orange and yellow. But yeah, again, my favourite colour is the yellow. Maybe yellow, probably. I always have it in my hair. And that's a very, very easy colour to put in your hair to blend together, just because it saturates so well and so easily as well. I'm just pulling this down a little bit.
Again, to anyone new, if you've got any questions, just shoot them in the chat and we'll get them answered for you.
And just blending blue jade down a little bit more, making sure that we've not got any gaps, lines, anything like that. I always say that if you're not sure, just go back into your section. And then I think we will do...
Someone's asked, how long have you been doing hair?
Almost 15 years now, which is a horrifying question to answer out loud and not inside my head. Yeah, probably almost, yeah, about 15 years now. That's really, really scary. I've been doing it since I was almost 17 and I'm coming up for 31 now. So, yeah, almost half of my life, which is, yeah, scary. I think we are going to go in with the lilac here. And again, this is lilac with cyclamen and hot purple, just to make it a warmer purple shade. Pastel purple, sorry.
So someone's asked, what line are you using here?
This is just a random line.
Or which colour line?
Oh, line! Anyways, this is Crazy Colour. You're on the Crazy Colour Live, and this is the Crazy Colour line. This is the UV This is the UV range in Crazy Colour. This colour specifically is not, however. This is the lilac shade, this pastel lilac purple, but I've mixed it with hot purple, which is a darker purple, and cyclamen, which is a darker pink. And then this is probably going to be my second last section. And then what I'll probably do is, just because her hair is so jaggy and crazy, I'll probably go through and just make sure I don't have any kind of like random hairs floating about anywhere. Hot purple. And then I'm going to blend this into Rebel UV, which is the UV pink. But yeah, this is a super, super easy range to mix together. I've mixed up way too much colour for what I need, but that's okay. Yeah, and then we're just going in with Rebel. And then I'm just going to kind of smudge it, I guess. Yeah, I'll go with smudge. With my fingers, just to make sure we've not got any lines. And then we'll blend this down. And then we've got a little end colour here, so I think I'm just going to go in with Anarchy for funsies. I'm just going to use the art. And then I am going to kind of just split that last section in two. And we'll just go from there and decide what shade we're using. I think I'm going to do Rebel. Try not to drop that like I just did. Yeah, we'll do Rebel. Again, if you have any questions, shoot them over.
Someone just asking where the salon's located.
It is in Dunfermline in Scotland. Don't know if you can tell by my accent, I'm Scottish. Yeah, that's about 35 minutes away from Edinburgh, I would say. It's called the Vivid Circle. It's my own little salon. It's very dark.
And what's your personal Instagram so they can find the salon and stuff from there?
My personal Instagram is Amber Does Mermaid Hair with underscores. So Amber underscore does underscore. Yeah, I think you can guess it from there because I can't think right now. But yeah, Amber Does Mermaid Hair with underscores between all of the words.
Someone's asking, is the colour best to be applied on wet or dry hair?
It can be applied on either, to be honest with you. You'll probably find that if you're working with more pastel colours, then it's probably easier if you apply it on dry, just because the hair is going to kind of like saturate a little bit better. But just for easiness, because the head was already kind of dry, I just kind of vaguely sprayed it and then applied the colour on, but it's pretty much dry now, to be honest with you. But yeah, it can be either or. You'll probably find that you'll get more out of the colour if you apply wet, but it can be done either way, whatever you're more comfortable with. I know some colour lines can only be done dry and some colour lines can only be done wet, but Crazy Colour can be done either way, just however you prefer, I would say, to be honest with you. And then this is Anarchy, and I'm blending it in to Caution. This is a super messy, just like, I guess you could call it like patchwork kind of like technique. Especially for something like this, you know, when this is going to be styled and stuff, like all the colours are going to blend together really, really nicely. So it doesn't, you don't really need to be super specific about it or anything. Alrighty. Beautiful purple bit here. Just make sure, all I can say is just make sure that your sections are effectively saturated. That's definitely the most important thing out of all of this. I'm going to try and lift her up. Okay. So I can double check her heads. But yeah, just as a reminder for everyone, we are using the UV line from Crazy Colour, obviously. And that consists of Rebel, Caution, Anarchy and Toxic, which is the pink, yellow, orange and green colours. Amazing, look amazing under the UV light as well.
Someone's asked, will the blue fade out to a green?
Yes, the blue is, this blue specifically as well, is it's got a green undertone to it because it's a kind of like turquoisey, like it's a really lit, it's actually what I've got in my fringe just now. Don't look at me, I'm sweaty. But it's like a kind of green undertone blue. So yeah, it will gradually fade out to a green tone. But this is the colour here. So we've done some colour melts underneath, a little bit of colour melting on top, and then some just block colouring as well. All very random. It'll all kind of come together once it's blow dried. I've not kind of like thought super hard about where I'm kind of placing the colour. All I have done is split it in half just so it wouldn't take me 2 hours to do on live. But yeah, all just super random. I'm going to hang about for another couple of minutes in case you guys have any more questions. But I'm going to show you guys the colours here so you can see them. So this is Toxic, then we have Blue Jade. This is the purple mix that I mixed up. This is the lilac with the cyclamen, hot purple. This is our Caution, which is the UV yellow. Then we have Anarchy, which is the UV orange, and Rebel, which is the UV pink. And I have mixed in some cyclamen with this. And these are the colours here, just so you can see them. All very beautiful, beautiful shades, as you can see on the hair. Very, very lovely. But yeah, if you guys have any more questions, feel free to shoot them across. If not, I will head off.
Someone's asked, how long would it take for you to do something like this in the salon on a client?
So I would probably say around an hour to do something like this, maybe like a little bit longer. What I usually say to people when they're doing videos and stuff like that is because, you know, tend not to charge enough when you're doing brighter colours. They're very famously undercharged for, is make sure you're charging for your time and the product you're using, things like that. But yeah, and no, that's fine. But yeah, make sure that you're charging for the product that you're using. And, you know, the time that you're spending on something like this as well is very, very important.
Someone's asked which pink is in the fringe.
This is the Rebel UV, but I have mixed it with cyclamen. So it is this colour. I don't actually have the bottle of cyclamen, but the cyclamen is just to make it a little bit brighter, but it'll still be UV under the light. It'll still be really, really beautiful under the light as well. Glow in the dark, lovely. Although I've been told that's not glow in the dark, that's something else. But that doesn't matter. Yeah, so again, we have got Rebel UV, which is the pink, Caution UV, which is the yellow, Anarchy UV, which is the orange, and Toxic UV, which is the green. So that is the full UV range. They can be intermixed with all the other colours, or they can be used by themselves. They're very, very beautiful colours. But if nobody has any other, other questions, everything. Then I will probably just head off. But thank you so much to everyone for coming and watching me ramble and paint with this blockhead. Thank you so much for spending time with me, and yeah, bye.